Have you ever felt exhausted from trying to prove that you are a good person? Have you ever explained yourself again and again, only to realize that the other person had already decided not to understand you? This is the story of a young lion who believed that everyone needed to approve of him, and the lesson that finally taught him what real strength truly means. Once, across the vast golden grasslands of Africa, there lived a young lion named Kato. Kato was powerful. He was courageous, quick, and already one of the finest hunters in his pride. But despite all his strength, Kato carried one weakness inside him. He desperately wanted everyone to like him. He wanted every animal to respect him. Most of all, he wanted everyone to understand that he was a good lion. Whenever someone misunderstood him, Kato felt disturbed. Whenever someone spoke badly about him, he could not remain silent. He believed that if he explained himself clearly enough, people would eventually accept the truth. But Kato had not yet learned that some people do not misunderstand you by accident. Sometimes, they misunderstand you because they enjoy watching you defend yourself. One morning, Kato spent several hours hunting across the grassland. The sun was already rising high into the sky when he finally caught a large deer. Hungry and exhausted, Kato carried his meal toward home. But before he could reach the pride, a group of hyenas stepped onto the path. Their leader stood in front of the others, wearing a crooked smile. It was not a friendly smile. It was the smile of someone who had already planned trouble. "Well, look who is coming," the hyena said loudly. The mighty Kato, stealing food from innocent animals again. The other hyenas began laughing. "What a cruel bully," another one added. Kato stopped walking. His muscles tightened, and anger rose inside his chest. "I am not a bully," he replied. "I hunted this deer myself. I followed it for hours. I worked for this food." The hyena tilted his head dramatically. "Oh, listen to him. The great lion is explaining himself to us." The others laughed even harder. Kato placed the deer on the ground. "I am only telling you the truth," he said. "I do not hurt animals without reason. I hunt because I need to eat." "Of course," one hyena replied sarcastically. "That is exactly what every bully says." Kato's voice became louder. "I am not a bully." The more emotional he became, the more entertained the hyenas appeared. "You think you are better than everyone. You are selfish. You only care about yourself. You enjoy frightening weaker animals." Kato could not tolerate their words. "No, you are wrong," he insisted. "You do not know me. Yesterday, I protected a young cub from danger. Last week, I shared my food with an injured lion. I have helped many animals." But the hyenas were not interested in the truth. Every explanation gave them another opportunity to laugh. Every defense made Kato look more desperate, and every time he raised his voice, they became more powerful. Finally, after exhausting him completely, the hyenas walked away. Kato remained standing beside his food. His meal was still there, but he had lost his appetite. He felt angry, embarrassed, and strangely defeated. The hyenas had not taken his food. They had not attacked him. Yet somehow, they had stolen his peace. And the worst part was that they looked delighted. They had made one of the strongest animals in the grassland beg for their approval. That evening, Kato went to visit the oldest lion in his family. His name was Jabari. Jabari was enormous. His broad face carried many scars from battles he had survived long ago. His dark mane had begun turning gray, and every animal in the grassland respected him. He was not respected because he spoke loudly. He was respected because he rarely needed to speak at all. Kato found him resting beneath an ancient tree. "The hyenas insult me every day," Kato said. "They accuse me of being cruel and selfish. I keep telling them the truth, but they refuse to understand." Jabari slowly opened his eyes. "How can I make them understand me?" Kato asked. The older lion studied him calmly. "Why does their understanding matter to you?" Kato looked confused. "Because what they say is not true." Jabari remained silent. Kato continued. "They are wrong about me. I need to correct them." "Why?" "Because I am not the lion they claim I am." Jabari looked directly at him. "Does their opinion change who you truly are?" Kato paused. "No." "Does their laughter erase the good things you have done?" "No." "Does their accusation turn truth into a lie?" "No." Jabari leaned forward. "Then why are you allowing their words to control your emotions?" "I am not allowing them to control me," Kato replied quickly. "I am only defending myself." Jabari slowly shook his head. "Every time you defend yourself before someone who has already chosen to attack you, you hand that person authority over you." Kato frowned. "What do you mean?" "You make them your judge." Jabari said. You stand before them as though they have the right to decide whether you are good or bad. You begin pleading for approval from animals whose opinion should never have mattered. Kato lowered his head. So, what am I supposed to do? Allow them to insult me? Jabari closed his eyes again. Come here tomorrow morning. Watch carefully, and you will have your answer. The following day, Kato returned and hid behind a cluster of tall grass. Jabari was sleeping peacefully beneath the same tree. It did not take long before the hyenas appeared. When they noticed the old lion, their leader smiled. Look at Jabari, he shouted. The once great lion is too lazy to hunt. He probably survives by eating food that younger lions bring him. The other hyenas laughed. Jabari did not move. He did not open his eyes. Did you hear us, old lion? One of them called. Still, there was no response. The hyenas moved closer. What happened? Are you too weak to answer? Jabari opened one eye. He looked at them without anger, fear, or irritation. His expression revealed absolutely nothing. Then, without saying a word, he closed his eye again. The silence suddenly felt heavier than a roar. The hyenas looked at one another. They had expected anger. They had expected an argument. They had expected Jabari to prove that he was still powerful, but he offered them nothing. One of the younger hyenas tried again. We are only saying that you used to be stronger. Jabari remained silent. The hyena's voice had already lost some of its confidence. Another one added. Perhaps everyone has been wrong to respect you. Still nothing. The hyenas became uncomfortable. Without anger to feed upon. Their insults sounded foolish. Without resistance, their game had no purpose. Slowly, they began walking away. None of them laughed this time. Kato emerged from the grass. Astonished, you did not defend yourself, he said. You did not even speak, yet they left. Jabari opened his eyes. I did not fight them because there was no battle worth fighting. But did their words not make you angry? Jabari placed one paw against his chest. What they believe about me is outside my control. What I know about myself is here. Kato remained silent. Jabari continued. I know the battles I have fought. I know the animals I have protected. I know my strengths, my failures, and my heart. Why would I abandon that knowledge merely because a hyena speaks? Before we continue, think about your own life. Have you ever behaved like Kato? Have you ever spent your energy explaining yourself to someone who had no intention of listening? Have you ever felt emotionally exhausted because you kept trying to prove who you were? Write asterisk asterisk yes asterisk asterisk or asterisk asterisk no asterisk asterisk in the comments. Now, let us see whether Kato was able to follow Jabari's lesson. For several days, Kato thought deeply about what he had witnessed. Then, one afternoon, the hyenas found him near the river. There he is, their leader called. Kato, the cruel lion who cares only about himself. Kato immediately felt anger rising in his chest. His heart began beating faster. Every part of him wanted to respond. He wanted to list all the animals he had helped. He wanted to prove that they were lying. He wanted to force them to admit that he was good. But then he remembered Jabari. Beneath the tree, he remembered the silence. So Kato did something he had never done before. He turned toward the hyenas. His face remained calm. His eyes were steady. And he said nothing. 1 second passed, then 2. Then 3. The hyenas waited. They expected Kato to shout. But no shout came. Their leader stepped forward. What happened? No long explanation today. Kato continued looking at him silently. Have you finally accepted that we are right? Still, Kato did not respond. One younger hyena shifted nervously. Why is he looking at us like that? I do not know, another whispered. It feels strange. Maybe he is planning something. The confidence in their voices began to weaken. Their insults, once powerful, suddenly sounded empty. Finally, Kato spoke. His voice was quiet, steady, and completely controlled. You are free to believe whatever you wish. Then he turned around and walked away. The hyenas remained frozen behind him. They had come expecting a fight, but Kato had refused to provide one. And without his emotional reaction, they were left alone with the ugliness of their own words. Weeks passed. The hyenas tried repeatedly to provoke Kato. Sometimes they called him selfish. Sometimes they called him cruel. Sometimes they invented stories about him. But each time, Kato either remained silent or answered calmly. He became as difficult to disturb as a mountain. One day, a hyena finally asked him, "Why do you no longer defend yourself? Do you not care what we say?" Kato looked at him peacefully. Why should a lion allow the opinions of hyenas to define him? He did not say it with anger. He did not say it to insult them. He said it as though he were stating a simple truth. And from that moment, everything changed. The hyenas gradually stopped coming. There was no pleasure in attacking someone who refused to react. There was no victory in insulting someone who did not need their approval. Before we reach the end of Kato's story, ask yourself one more question. If someone insults you tomorrow, what will you do? Will you become the old Kato, explaining every detail and begging to be understood? Or will you remain calm, protect your peace, and remember Jabari's lesson? Share your answer in the comments. Now, let us see how Kato's journey ended. One morning, Jabari saw Kato walking across the grassland. His head was raised. His steps were calm. He no longer turned whenever he heard animals whispering behind him. You have learned, Jabari said. Kato stopped beside him. Yes, he replied. I wasted so much time trying to make everyone understand me that I forgot to understand myself. Jabari smiled slightly. And what do you understand now? Kato looked across the open grassland. I understand that I do not need to explain my entire life to every animal who misunderstands me. He paused. A lion does not become less powerful because a hyena laughs at him. A lion knows what he is. Jabari nodded. You are no longer thinking like a frightened cub. Kato looked at him. You are beginning to think like a king. From that day forward, Kato carried himself differently. He was not arrogant. He was not cold. He was simply certain of who he was. He no longer needed to announce his strength. His actions revealed it. He no longer needed to convince everyone that he was kind. The way he treated others showed the truth. And whenever animals spoke badly about him, as some always would, their words passed through his mind like wind moving through tall grass. They arrived. Then they disappeared. Because Kato had finally understood something that many people spend their entire lives trying to learn. When you stop needing to defend yourself before everyone, people lose the power to disturb you. Real strength does not come from winning every argument. It comes from knowing your own character. When you truly know who you are, the opinions of others can no longer rewrite your identity. A lion does not chase hyenas, begging them to understand him. He simply continues living according to his truth. Stop explaining yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you. Stop surrendering your peace for their approval. Know yourself. Trust your actions. And keep moving forward. Because when you no longer depend on the world to define you, the world can no longer control you. If this story gave you something valuable to think about, like the video, share it with someone who needs this lesson.